And therefore, I've said already in the last days, yes, we have to do more to defend Ukraine. Yes, we have to do more also on tanks. But the most important and the crucial part is that we do it together and that we do not do the blame game in Europe, because we are fighting a war against Russia and not against each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Minister.
She's not speaking, though, only for Germany. She's speaking for all European countries.
Yeah.
Saying all European countries are at war with Russia.
We are in a world war with Russia. We are at war with Russia. Not Ukraine is at war with Russia. We are at war with Russia. Those were her words. And this, of course, many Germans were quick to freak out about this, rightly so. Of course, we've seen a lot of protests across Germany saying down with this, absolutely not. And now they're calling for her immediate resignation. Will it happen? Of course not, because she's a stooge of the deep state. She's perfect for them. Russia responded, saying, hey, the ball's in your court now. Want to keep escalating things because this is going to go nuclear. This, of course, is the same nut job who told Germans that she will put Ukraine first no matter what German voters think or how hard their lives get. Watch.
But if I give the promise to people in Ukraine, we stand with you as long as you need us, then I want to deliver. No matter what my German voters think, but I want to deliver to the people of Ukraine. And this is why, for me, it's important to be always very frank and clear. And this means every measure I'm checking.
So I'll make a second video. There was a Russian response to Germany declaring war on Russia. So we'll see how that goes. But I did want to just kind of run down the list here. By the way, having a bad day. Whew. It's been a rough day. Just maybe that, well, anyway, been doing a lot the last couple of days for my health. And I'm sure that it always, at some point you have to rest, right? You have to have a day of rest. Even God rested on the seventh day. So, let's see. Oh, this was interesting. So Zelensky proposed a non-aggression pact with Belarus, or Belarusia, some people call it, and Lukashenko. He's the leader of Belarus. He went public with his statement, and he said, no peace, no peace. So, and the interesting thing that I knew, that Russia and Belarus were cozying up pretty good, but I did not know, there's estimates that the Russians have over 100,000 troops right now in Belarus. And so Kyiv is a little bit worried about that, because they're wondering, what are they going to do with all that hardware and troops? And of course, they've got their fighter jets in Belarus. So who knows? Maybe we're going to see the Normandy invasion come out of Belarus. That's a lot of troops, and the estimates are that the Ukrainians only have maybe 19,000 troops along the border there, because they've committed everything to Bakhmut. Continued fighting going on there. I got some new numbers for you. Like I said, I just get these from various sources. Russia's war of attrition will grind on. Estimates are, well, and just throwing out these numbers, I don't know. The estimates are that hundreds of Ukrainians in Bakhmut, in the Bakhmut area, okay, that's not just Bakhmut, are dying each day. So that's a huge number. I told you that, the Russians are not too worried about these tanks. They just say it's more hardware for them to destroy. But what's the purpose of sending these tanks? And so, political commentary, they're saying the tanks are just to provide political cover so that they can say they did all they could do to help Ukraine kill more Russians. And so we'll see how that goes. But the estimates are thousands of, we already talked about these numbers because if you watched Colonel McGregor, he says that hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have died in this war. But the BBC came out with an article today. And, the The official numbers are 12,200 Russians have been killed in the war. But that, if you double that, that could be 24,400. So you can do your math however you want. But when you consider it's a war of attrition, when you've got hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians dead, only to 24,400 Russians, I'd say the Russians are doing pretty good. And there are reports that the U.S. has told Ukraine to withdraw from Bakhmut and go to better fortified lines. The Russian encirclement of Bakhmut continues. It's a slow grind. Like I told you, there's minefields that they have to cut through. They still have not cut Bakhmut off from reinforcements. This was an interesting number. That Russia is firing. Can you imagine? This is insane. 20,000 shells a day from their artillery at the Ukrainians. 20,000 shells. I mean, can you imagine? One shell at my house is gone. Boom! And imagine if they hit it with 1,000 shells. This would just be a sinkhole in Florida. Oh my God, these numbers are staggering. So that works out to 3.4 million. They're manufacturing. What they're saying is right now they're manufacturing 3.4 million artillery shells a year. And that's at today's numbers, but since they've gone now to a general mobilization, like I told you, they were in the Russians called a limited mobilization, I guess. I can't remember the exact term. So now they've gone to what's called a general mobilization. That means all-out war. Central mobilization. I told you about they just said that those tanks are just something else they got to destroy. But it's still a major escalation, and I described to you how the Russians view, and you just heard Germany. They just declared war on Russia. I don't think the German people are for it, but their leadership certainly is, so we'll see. I'm going to do another video because I want to get the Russian response to that, and I cannot borrow content from other channels or, songs or any of that in huge amounts, but I can certainly play you the Russian response, and that'll be the next video, so stay tuned. Definitely watch the next video. It'll be brief. I'll try to get some other notes on other things going on in the world. I mean, nothing that we can do about World War III except pray to God. But I just wanted to point something out. During the 4 years that Trump was president, you do realize that we didn't have a war. In fact, he kept us out of foreign conflicts. And so everybody hates Trump. Everybody hates Trump, but I don't recall anybody dying, except, he did take out ISIS in Syria. It killed a couple of bad guys. He was still part of the military-industrial complex, but I think he kept them in check pretty good. But the Democrats, they want total war, baby. I mean, Biden, they're going all out. Abrams tanks going to Ukraine. Billions and billions of dollars being sent over there. They're already talking about rebuilding Ukraine with BlackRock, JP Morgan, Raytheon just reported record numbers. So your military-industrial complex with your tax dollars is doing great. Oh, this is all under the Democrats. That's all I got to say. So, this is what we're going to come to in the next video, is that Russia, in that summary, they said Germany is now a legitimate target. So we may see the war expand into actually Europe. I'm surprised that Germany wants to go to war again. After their country was completely destroyed in World War II, of course, we rebuilt it here in the United States. We're not going to be able to do that again. So Russia says that they're going to hit, because if NATO starts supplying these weapon systems to Ukraine, basically Russia's saying, you know what, these weapon systems in other countries, Poland, for example, Germany, they're going to be legitimate targets, and the Russians have those hypersonic missiles, and there's no defense against those. So they may just start hitting the trains and stuff, trying to get these weapon systems to Ukraine. And boy, that's going to escalate things, huh? Woo, boy, I tell you, it's going to get interesting. The last thing I wanted to end with was just reflect on history for just a minute. There were millions, and I didn't have the exact number, but imagine this. Okay, so your dad, your mom just died. You might know there was 10 people shot to death in California or whatever by an Asian lunatic. By the way, that narrative failed. You're not going to hear any more about that. That wasn't a right-wing lunatic that was shooting those people. It was just an old Asian guy. But think about it. So 10 people died all over the news. You might hear about a little bit of the fentanyl, 100,000 Americans dying from fentanyl. Now, take those numbers in your head. I mean, it's kind of like Stalin said, one death is a casualty, a million deaths is a statistic. Well, 45 million Russians died in World War II, 45 million. And Germany just declared war on Russia. It's good to live in the free state of Florida. And the next video will be the clip from Russia. And you got to listen to what they say. And anyway, under the great leadership of Governor DeSanctimonious.